Hi, Catherine.
And we're not talking about the weather, unfortunately, although we are enjoying it greatly. We're talking about a political scandal here in France that's really shaking up the UMP party. That's Nicolas Sarkozy's party.
That's right. Now, this all started last week with Le Point, which is a conservative magazine that accused the leader of the UMP, Jean-François Copé, of corruption. And it's getting a lot of attention in the French press. Still this week, it's on the front page of Le Figaro, for instance. Now, according to Le Point, it has proof that the UMP leader allowed a business that was run by friends of his to cheat the party by overcharging the party during Sarkozy's election bid in 2012. Now, Jean-François Copé hit back yesterday with a press conference. He said that he was the victim of public lynching. He likened all this to the Inquisition, and
That's very strong.
Very strong words, that's right. And he actually offered to open up all the accounts of the UMP to public inspection, so long as other parties do the same thing. So that's what you can read on part of the front page of Le Figaro today. But as I'll tell you in the French press review, he's also the butt of a lot of jokes in the French press today.
Oh, okay, there we go. Some jokes to look forward to when you're back with the full press review. But for now, we'll move on to there's diplomatic tensions over the situation in Ukraine.
That's right. You just got a sneak peek there. That's what's also on the front page of Le Figaro. And in fact, the leading topic in the French press today, you can see here that as Russia settles down in Crimea, well, Europe hesitates. Le Figaro calls Europe's reaction to all this very symbolic. Now, Les Echos has a very alarming front page today with just one word. It says escalation, and you can see a menacing photo there of some ships in the Sevastopol Bay. Libération calls all this Putin's war. How far will the Russian president go? That's what Libération wonders today. The West is scrambling to find a response to this military offensive in Crimea. That's what Libération calls it. And Libération says that Putin is actually betting on Europe's spinelessness, its cowardice. And, well, he might be right, according to Libération. And it calls on Europe to really show courage and determination.
Okay, well, we have seen Russia looking quite isolated, diplomatically speaking, on the international stage. What are the international papers telling us?
Well, let's take a look at the Russian press. It's interesting to see how they're reacting to all this. Their choice of words is strikingly different. I pulled out a word from a Russian daily called Kommersant. Now, they're not talking about Europe hesitating or acting like a coward. They're talking about the EU's ultimatum to Russia. So very different focus there.
And that's the EU's foreign policy chief, Catherine Ashton, there.
That's right. And this article says that, the menace is that if Russia doesn't take steps to de-escalate by March 6th, that's Thursday, well, it will be punished. So that's what that article is focusing on. I pulled out another article this time in Moscow Times, which tends to have articles that are a little bit more against the government. Now, this article says that Russia is likely to, face severe isolation, as you were just talking about, but Putin is not afraid of becoming a global pariah. Now, The Independent today focuses on how the U.S. is reacting to all this and points out that Barack Obama's cautious style has often left the U.S. foreign policy lagging on events. But this editorial today says that the U.S. really has to take the lead in Ukraine. And you can read the title there, Take the Baton, Barack.
Okay, well, moving on from the Ukraine story, an exclusive interview in Britain's independent newspaper with the Afghan president, Hamid Karzai, and you've got a little preview for us.
That's right. This is to mark the end of his presidency. It's a very candid interview in the Independent today. He talks about his regret at the innocent lives that have been lost in Afghanistan, but he also says that America's view of the enemy is wrong, and you can see that quote there, Al-Qaeda is more myth than reality. I'll tell you more about it in the International Press Review at about 9:20.
Thanks very much, Florence Villeneuve, with that look ahead to the press review here on France 24. A reminder for you now of our international headlines.